Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Select men have stories, non-select men have complaints. Yeah, y'all. You know, because I'm talking about select and non-select men. Basically, the select men, hey, they're at the top of the sexual hierarchy. You know, when women take those 3 seconds to decide if they want to get with a guy, oh, that guy's in there. That guy's in there. It's up to him to blow it. Meanwhile, the non-select men, no matter what they do, they're going to have trouble with women. They are not the woman's prime choice. They're the choice that many women will settle for and everything. And something else even with the select and non-select. Let's be clear, non-select men do get in relationships and they do get married. They just not getting the greatest treatment. Those are the ones who are being sexless marriages. Those are the ones who need to double back home and everything. Meanwhile, the select man, he's probably in bed with that non-select man's wife, or he the side man, or the women throwing it at the select men. See, one of the things I was thinking about, because I was actually going to call this something different. I was actually going to call this select men see relationship dynamics differently. Because remember, even though I get some detractors thinking I don't know what's going on out here. One, I got a 21-year-old son and a 19-year-old son. So I know what's going on with young people. 2, I got consultation clients literally all over the planet. Young men, especially in their 20s and everything. And plus, I don't be sitting in the house. I've never sat in the house. I'm called field master for a reason. So I see what's going on out here. And I know people on both sides because people be telling me stuff. Some people don't even know what I did for a living. Even in the hospital, when I was in the hospital for the stroke, I had people telling me some stuff. I gave a couple people my card after I got to know them a little bit. Say, yeah, check out my videos. But hey, I was hearing everything. And it's interesting, even when I look at the comments, I can pretty much tell who's select and non-select by just what they say about women. Just by what they say. If they got complaints saying the woman doing this and that, non-select. And there's a special category of non-select. I'm gonna get more into them in the next episode. I gotta give them a shout out because they in an interesting place. But for the most part, guys who are having trouble, they're gonna complain. And instead of looking at themselves, they're gonna complain about the women. They're gonna say, oh, they all 304s, oh, they slept with all of these men and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, the select guy is like, whatever, he gonna have stories. Yeah, he ain't gonna care about their body count because they just another woman to him. Because they got so many women, they ain't trying to settle with that one woman. The biggest complaint that a select man might have is just finding just that one he wants to settle with, but he still has options. Or he find that one who don't want him and he might be like, man, that's the biggest complaint. That's the biggest single complaint. In fact, I had a lot of select men labeled Mr. Goodbar who would buy my books. In fact, that's still actually my biggest customer base right there. Men who just, I'm just confirming for them what they've been seeing all their life. Even then, they don't have complaints. They be telling me stories. You sit down and talk, they say, yeah, man, had this woman, she grabbed my dick in the store. Or this woman at a party, man, she just like motioned me over. All of a sudden, we doing something in the back storage area or in the back bedroom, something like that. Or I got these crazy women. That'd be the only complaint a select man might have. He got some crazy women stalking his ass. Even then, it's not a complaint. He'd be looking at it like a story. But you know what it is, though? It's just different relationship dynamics. It's just different dynamics. Different men are just going to see stuff differently. And of course, people ain't going to understand that there's another side to it. Now, a non-select man who became select, he can see both sides. But a lot of guys who are select, even though I would say, well, most of them had to actually go from one to the other. They understand. But even then, after a while, they might forget about the days that they weren't getting it, because they got these fine ass women throwing it at them like, you know, where once they become select, they probably forgot about it, you know. Now some are still gonna have some scars from it and everything, but trust me, you get some fine women throwing it at you, you tend to forget about the negative ones. In fact, you be laughing about the negative ones, and even then, that becomes a part of the story, not the complaint, because then you're gonna be like, damn, I'm glad that woman didn't give me any. But nah, that's a major thing. And in fact, even in discussions online, like I noticed this with what I talk about. There's a lot of guys don't get what I'm talking about. In fact, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, me getting near 100,000 subscribers. I'm actually surprised. Because I said, I know I'm looking at it from a certain perspective. You know, because y'all notice I don't really be complaining about women on here. Because if I was, that'd be a straight grift on my part if I'm complaining. Because shoot, even in the hospital, could barely walk. You had some nurses giving me extra attention, you know? So it was just like, wow. So what's the problem with these other people, you know? Shoot, even now, walking around with a cane, still getting some, hey. But I'll have stories, but then some other guys got complaints. And I'm gonna say this, though. I would say to the non-select men, instead of complaining, find out legitimately what the select men are doing. All of them ain't some chads. All of them ain't some pookies. And I keep saying that. That's why I always go, see, let me talk about that for a second. Because y'all know I'm notorious for calling that out, saying that's some bullshit. Remember, what did I say? I'm out here. I know people. I got consultation clients from all over the world. All of them ain't guys who need help. I would say most of them are guys who just most they need is just some help managing the women. Not getting them, managing. Shoot, let me shout out Afi Kingdom. He hit me up for a consultation in 5 minutes. I was like, why is he calling me? But it turned out he wanted to talk about some other stuff, business. And now, lost count of how many books he done written, because that was one of the things we talked about. See, that's another thing. When I get those consultations with guys like that, they like, let's talk about this. You got a business channel or something else, you know? And they be saying, well, you know, I don't need help getting women, but let's talk about business. So, you know, and that's another thing too. You know, if they on here or online, they looking at other people's stuff. They looking at other things. They ain't looking at just, well, how to get a woman and shit. You know? So it's a different dynamic. See, like I said, at first I was gonna call this select men see relationships dynamics differently. And they do. They getting women. They don't have anything to complain about. And even with that, you know, let's use the body count thing. These are the types, they're going to get those women with the low body counts go come after them too. It is what it is. And that's something to think about. And what I would say to, once again, I was going to get into it, what the non-select men need to really do is, instead of, okay, you complaining, but understanding some men over here getting women. What are they doing differently? All of them ain't thugs. All of them, in fact, some of the biggest players I know personally are professionals, doctors and attorneys, like getting multiple women. I can think of one prominent doctor in particular, you know, in this area. Older guy too. But I know a couple guys got multiple women, multiple wives, stuff like that. And they ain't some Chad, they ain't some Pookie. So instead of complaining, a lot of non-select men need to sit back and say, okay, what are they doing? And what I talk about, I'm basically telling you what to do. So anyway, I want y'all to think about that, all right? And I'll get back with y'all later, all right? Peace and blessings.